What is going on, Big Body Team? It's your boy Big J. We are currently at the gym. It is 6:30 in the morning. Absolutely beautiful morning to get after it. We are hitting back today. I am pretty notorious for having a small back. So I'm gonna walk you through everything that I'm currently doing right now to bring up my back and to make sure we don't have a small back for next season. So when I pop out with a big back next season, you're gonna know exactly why and how I did it. Let's get into the video. We're gonna start off with lat pull downs, absolute staple for me. And then we'll talk about kind of my philosophies, my exercises, obviously. And yeah, stay tuned because I'm gonna teach y'all how to grow a big back. So you're gonna see pretty quickly a common theme with any exercise I choose is I do working sets or top sets, right? Basically, I'm a huge advocate for high intensity, and I'll get into that later in the video, but every single working set that I do is going to be training with as close to failure as possible. With that being said, with training to failure, you have to watch out for your total volume that you hit within a given session. So I typically hit 1 to 2 working sets per exercises, maybe 3. I'll talk about that later in the video. Let's get into this lat pull down. Taking to failure, and this is my top set. So let's get into it. So as you can see, I just ripped my top set. Now we're going to wait for a back down set. Essentially, you want to drop the weight just a little bit. Because I'm doing such low volume, the quality of sets that you actually hit have to be extremely high quality. So in order to do that, I like to rest for like 4 to 5 minutes in between sets to obviously have the best output when I do hit a working set. So it's been like 3 minutes right now. I'm gonna wait another 1 or 2 more minutes and then get an absolutely all out set to failure. And then we're good with the lat pull down. That's good. So second exercise of the day is gonna be this hammer strength lat pull down. I love this movement personally, and for all lat training, you're gonna notice for me personally, I love to do unilateral movements. Now that is more of a preference thing, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about the intensity that I was talking about in the beginning of the video, right? A lot of people like to overcomplicate training, right? I'm a pretty huge optimal lifter myself, but I will always defend high intensity training. Intensity is on a whole nother tier of itself, right? You could take an unoptimal movement, and if you train it closer to intensity rather than an optimal movement, you're going to reap more benefits. So if there's one tip, if there's one thing that you want to get out of this video, is make sure that you are training with as high intensity as you can, because if you are not getting stronger, if you're not lifting heavier on a session to session basis, then something is wrong. Your workouts are going to be stagnant, you're not going to progress. So high intensity, make sure you're training as close to failure as you can, and just get strong, honestly. So again, for this movement in particular and all lat exercises, I like to do unilateral movements. With lat training as well, it's super easy to have a lot of ego and lift a lot of weight. The lats are a very particular muscle. So something that I've learned is to actually drop the weight, make sure I'm hitting the targeted musculature, and make sure I'm not trying to overcompensate with any other muscles. So you'll notice I'm doing 3 plates. I could probably do 4 or 5, but then the emphasis wouldn't be targeted on the lats. So Don't be afraid to drop the weight, standardize your form, make sure you're targeting the muscles properly, and then progress from there. All right, we're on to exercise number 3. We have made it out to the graveyard. This is an outside portion of the gym, but we've talked about top sets, back down sets, or working sets. We've talked about high intensity. Now, let's talk about exercise selection, right? It's a pretty touchy topic for some people. Some people, I feel like, put exercise selection on a high pedestal, and that's coming from somebody who opts for more stable movements, which is what I'm getting to, right? I like to choose a lot of exercises that are the most stable, right? The more stable you could get in exercise, the less abdominal muscles you have to use, the less stabilizing muscles you have to use, and the more focus you get to put on the given musculature. So you'll notice all of the movements I've been hitting so far are going to be machines, are going to be cables, are going to be another machine right here, which brings us into our next topic. Our third exercise will be this T-bar row machine. Like I said 2 clips ago, intensity is always going to be number 1. Then you can choose your exercises, right? If you're like me, I like to have high intensity and I like to choose the best exercises. But let's say you like a barbell row rather than a T-bar row. You feel better, you can take the set closer to failure, you're going to yield more results with that barbell row, right? Take that with what you will. Now I'm going to personally take this T-bar row to failure rather than a barbell row because I don't have to use as many stabilizing muscles. Let's get into it. All right, so I'm gonna keep it a buck right now. It is freezing outside, so we are only going to do 1 working set on the T-bar row machine. Now you might be thinking, or you might get scared with the thought of only doing 1 working set, like, am I doing enough? That's not enough. I like to do 3 to 4. If you could take the set to failure and you could progressively get stronger session to session, that's all that matters, as long as you can progress with that volume from set to set. So you're gonna see right now how close I take this set to failure, and that's how I'm personally able to get away with only 1 working set. Let's get it. That is the scariest part, re-racking that right there. Okay, so we've talked about top sets, back down sets, we've talked about intensity, and we've talked about exercise selection. Now let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's actually talk about how I'm breaking up my back sessions. So with that being said, within a full pull day session, I personally like to hit about 8 to 11 working sets for back. I hit about 4 to 7 working sets for biceps, and hit around 1 to 2 working sets for rear delts. Why do I do so little on rear delts? Delts are a super dominant body part for myself. I personally don't need a lot of stimulus, so that just works best for me. All those numbers that you just heard, all the numbers on the screen, that's what I go by within a given back day workout.
So you gotta keep it realer. Kidnap niggas wanna steal you. Broke niggas want no cash, they just wanna kill you. For the name, niggas don't know the rules. Disrespect to the king, when you blow your cool. Force your hand, of course that man is black. Smart enough, the streets is watching. My street mentality flip with forever. Know me and money, all co-defenders. Nigga, like the girl, like the boys I bring back. At the bottom of the fire, when the water gets hot, got my transporter, taking across the border and stop. Set up shop with a quarter of rock. Here's the plan, straight reach, the start to the block. But you know the game's free. Up me in my nose, one trap for white people out, faster than the cops. It's a stable way of living, just had to stop. Half of my scattered. We done real things, my 90.
Alrighty guys, fifth topic and final topic, we have the last exercise. So I wanted to conclude the talking portion of this video with this particular back workout and why I chose certain movements. Now you might notice if you follow me on Instagram that I'm not too hyper focused on hitting these exact same machines every single week, but what I do focus on is hitting the back in certain ways, in a particular way, right? So you'll notice I started with a lat pull down. Now the lat pull down is obviously going to vary on how you hit the movement. If you want to hit lats, you want to bring the bar closer to the lower part of your chest, and you want to stand a little bit more upright, right? If you wanted to make the movement more upper back focused, you obviously want to widen out your elbows. You want to row kind of to your mid to upper chest, and you want to allow yourself to naturally lean back a little bit more. Now, with that movement in particular, I was going for more of a back activation, but obviously I hit 2 working sets. And my mindset with that is just to warm up the lats and the upper back. So my form wasn't too fixated on trying to target one of those muscles, but rather get kind of a full back lat activation and warm up, right? After that, I went into a unilateral lat pull down, where this is now where I'm focused on strictly just lats, right? So my philosophy with that is after the lat pull down, I'm trying to get more of the mid to lower lat with that. After that, we hit a T-bar row where I have my elbows nice and high. That one in particular, I'm trying to target strictly upper back, right? Keep your elbows at a 90-degree angle compared to your torso to really hit that upper back. Now we just had a lat row right there. Again, unilateral, that's just more of a preference. With that one, I'm really trying to target the upper to mid lats. That's obviously a huge focus within a lot of people's backs. It's hard to have your lats as your strong point in your back. So a lot of the focus today has been lat work. And then to end off this workout, we have one more upper back movement, but this one's going to be a little bit different from the T-bar row. This one is going to be a low to high row. So it's going to really target a lot of that upper trap, which is an area I need a lot of work on. So every single movement is going to target a little bit different parts of the back. You want to kind of limit redundancy when choosing exercises. So obviously I'm not going to choose 5 upper back workouts in the same session, hitting the same muscles, right? That's going to be way too redundant. You're not going to get as much full back workout from that workout. So really be peculiar with what exercises you're choosing. Kind of have a set game plan of how to hit certain muscles, and then you can kind of be free with what exercises you choose for those muscles. Okay, let's go. Perfect example of how this weight was way too heavy for me and I used a little bit too much ego. So simply just drop the weight to a good number to where you can hit effective reps. Is going to conclude the back portion of my pull day. I'm going to finish up with some biceps and some rear delts. Last thing that you obviously need to focus on, that I'm going to focus on, which I always do, is going to be nutrition and recovery, right? I have to make sure my nutrition's perfect to where I'm growing, and I have to make sure my recovery is perfect to where I'm recovering from session to session. I will get into that into later videos, but this video is going to be strictly how I'm going to grow my back. Hopefully y'all took something from this video. If you did, like and subscribe. You already know what to do. Follow me on Instagram, bigjay.fit. And yeah, that's going to be it for this day's back session. Go get yourself a big back. That's going to be it for me. Peace out.